तो आज से हम शुरू कर रहे हैं श्रीला प्रभुपाद जी के बुक्स को पढ़ने के लिए प्रतिदिन डेली 9 बजे शुरू करेंगे और 20 मिनट हम रीड करेंगे कंटिन्यू। उसके बाद 5 मिनट आप क्वेश्चंस कर सकते हैं, हम डिस्कस कर सकते हैं, कुछ रहेगा। जिस बुक को अभी हम पढ़ रहे हैं इसका नाम है बियॉन्ड बर्थ एंड डेथ, जन्म और मृत्यु से परे। चैप्टर 1 है वी आर नॉट दिस बॉडीज। लेट्स स्टार्ट इट। हम प्रार्थना से शुरू करेंगे ना, एवरीडे हम एकदम शॉर्ट प्रेयर करेंगे। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निरविशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। वी आर नॉट दिस बॉडीज, हम यह शरीर नहीं है। देहि नित्यो देहि नित्यम अवध्योयम देहो सर्वस्य भारत, तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि। O descendant of Bharat, he who dwells in the body is eternal and can never be slain. Therefore, you should not grieve for any creature. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 30. The very first step in self realization is realizing one's identity as separate from the body. I am not this body, but am spirit soul is an essential realization for anyone who wants to transcend death and enter into a spiritual world beyond. It is not simply a matter of saying, I am not this body, but of actually realizing it. This is not as simple as it may seem at first. Although we are not these bodies, but a pure consciousness, somehow or other, we have become encaged within the bodily dress. If we actually want the happiness and independence that transcend death, we have to establish ourselves and remain in our constitutional position as pure consciousness. Living in the bodily conception, our idea of happiness is like that of a man in delirium. डिलेरियम में जिसका सोचने समझने का पावर चला जाता है, ठीक से सोच नहीं पाता है, उसको डेलेरियम बोलते हैं। Some philosophers claim that this delirious condition of bodily identification should be cured by abstaining from all action, because these material activities have been a source of distress for us. They claim that we should actually stop these activities. Their culmination of perfection is in a kind of Buddhistic nirvana in which no activities are performed. Buddha maintained that due to a combination of material elements, this body has come into existence, and that somehow or other, if these material elements are separated or dismantled, the cause of suffering is removed. So, example है अभी, if the tax collector give us too much difficulty because we happen to possess a large house, one simple solution is to destroy the house. However, the Bhagavad Gita indicates that this material body is not all in all. Beyond this combination of material elements, there is spirit, and the symptom of that spirit is consciousness. Consciousness cannot be denied. A body without consciousness is a dead body. As soon as consciousness is removed from the body, the mouth will not speak, the eye will not see, nor the ears hear. A child can understand that. It is a fact that consciousness is absolutely necessary for animation of the body. What is this consciousness? Just as heat or smoke are symptoms of fire, so consciousness is the symptom of the soul. The energy of a soul, a cell, is produced in the shape of consciousness. Indeed, consciousness proves that the soul is present. This is not only the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, but the conclusion of all Vedic literature. The impersonalist followers of Sankaracharya, as well as the Vaishnavas, following in disciplic succession from Lord Sri Krishna, acknowledge the factual existence of the soul, but the Buddhist philosophers do not. The Buddhists contend that at a certain stage of combination of matter produces consciousness. But this argument is refuted by the fact that although we may have all the constituents of matter at our disposal, we cannot produce consciousness from them. All the material elements may be present in a dead man, but we cannot revive that man to consciousness. This body is not like a machine. When a part of a machine breaks down, it can be replaced and the machine will work again. But when the body breaks down and the consciousness leaves the body, there is no possibility of our replacing the broken part and rejuvenating the consciousness. The soul is different from the body, and as long as the soul is there, the body is animate. But there is no possibility of making the body animate in an absence of the soul. Because we cannot pursue the soul by our gross senses, we deny it. Actually, there are so many things that are there which we cannot see. We cannot see air, radio waves, or sound, nor can we pursue minute bacteria with our blunt senses. But this does not mean that they are not there. By the aid of the microscope and other instruments, many things can be perceived which had previously been denied by the imperfect senses. Just because the soul, which is atomic in size, has not been perceived yet by the senses or instruments, we should not conclude that it is not there. It can, however, be perceived by its symptoms and effects. In Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna points out that all of our miseries are due to the false identification with the body. Matra isparsastu kaunteya, shitoshna sukha dukkhada, agamapaino nityas, tam titikshasva bharata. O son of Kunti, the non-permanent appearance of heat and cold, happiness and distress, and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of winter and summer seasons. They arise from sense perception, ocean of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 text 14. In the summertime, we may feel pleasure from the contact with water, but in the winter, we may we may sun that very water because it is too cold. In either case, the water is the same, but we perceive it as a pleasant or painful due to its contact with the body. All feelings of distress and happiness are due to the body. Under certain conditions, the body and mind feel happiness and distress. Actually, we are hankering after happiness, for the soul's constitutional position is that of happiness. The soul is part and parcel of the Supreme Being, who is Satchidananda Vigraha, the embodiment of knowledge, bliss, and eternity. Indeed, the very name Krishna, which is non-sectarian, means the greatest pleasure. Krish means greatest, and Na means pleasure. Krishna is the epitome of pleasure, and being part and parcel of him, we hanker for pleasure. A drop of ocean water has all the properties of the ocean itself, and we, all the minute particles of the supreme whole, have the same energetic properties as the supreme. The atomic soul, although so small, is moving the entire body to act in so many wonderful ways. In the world, We see so many cities, highways, bridges, great buildings, monuments, and great civilizations. But who has done all these? It is all done by minute spirit spark within the body. If such wonderful things can be performed by minute spirit spark, we cannot begin to imagine that what can be accomplished by the Supreme Spirit whole. The natural hankering of minute spirit spark is for the qualities of the whole, knowledge, bliss, and eternity. But these hankerings are being frustrated due to the material body. The information on how to attain the soul's desire is given in the Bhagavad Gita. At present, we are trying to attain eternity, bliss, and knowledge by means of an imperfect instrument. Actually, our progress towards this goal is being blocked by the material body. Therefore, we have to come to the realization of our existence beyond the body. Theoretical knowledge that we are not these bodies will not do. We have to keep ourselves always separate as masters of the body, not as servants. If we know how to drive a car well, it will give us good service. But if we do not know how, we will be in danger. The body is composed of senses, and the senses are always hungry after their objects. The eyes see a beautiful person and tell us, "Oh, there is beautiful girl, a beautiful boy. Let's go see." The ears are telling us, "Oh, there is a nice music. Let us go hear it." The tongue is saying, "Oh, there is very nice restaurant with palatable dishes. Let us go." In this way, the senses are dragging us from one place to another. And because of this, we are perplexed. Indriyanam hi charatam yanmano no vidhiyate tad yasya harati pragyam vayurnavam ivam bhase. As the boat on the water is swept away by a strong wind, even one of the senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, text 67. It is imperative that we learn how to control the senses. The name Goswami is given to someone who has learned how to master the senses. Go means senses and the Swami means controller. So one who can control the senses is to be considered a Goswami. Krishna indicates that one who identifies with the illusory material body cannot establish himself in his proper identity as a spirit soul. Bodily pleasure is hankering and intoxicating, and we cannot actually enjoy it because of its momentary nature. Actual pleasure is of the soul, not the body. We have to mold our lives in such a way that we will not be diverted by bodily pleasure. If somehow or somehow we are diverted, it is not possible for us to establish our consciousness in its true identity beyond the body. भोगैश्वर्य प्रसक्तानां दया प्रहत चेतसां व्यवसायात्मिका बुद्धि सामाधौ न विधीयते त्रैगुण्या विषया वेदा निस्त्रण गुण्यो भवर्जुन निर्द्वंद्वो नित्य सत्वस्थो निर्योगक्षेम आत्मवान. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. The Vedas deal with the subject of the three modes of material nature. Rise above these modes, O Arjuna. Be transcendental to all of them. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety. And be established in the self from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 44 and 45. The word Veda means book of knowledge. There are many books of knowledge which vary according to country, population, environment, etc. In India, the books of knowledge are referred to as the Vedas. In the West, they are called the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Mohammedans accept the Quran. What is the purpose for all these books of knowledge? They are to train us to understand our position as pure soul. Their purpose is to restrict bodily activities by certain rules and regulations. And these rules and regulations are known as codes of morality. The Bible, for instance, has 10 commandments intended to regulate our life. The body must be controlled in order for us to reach the highest perfection. And without regulative principles, it is not possible to perfect our lives. The regulative principles may differ from country to country or from scripture to scriptures, but that doesn't matter, for they are made according to the time and circumstances and the mentality of the people. But the principle of regulated control is the same. Similarly, the government sets down certain regulations to be obeyed by its citizens. There is no possibility of making advancement in government or civilization without some regulations. In the previous verse, Sri Krishna tells Arjuna that the regulative principle of Vedas are meant to control the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Trigunya Vishaya Veda. However, Krishna is advising Arjuna to establish himself in his pure constitutional position as a spirit soul, beyond the dualities of material nature. As we have already pointed out, these dualities, such as heat and cold, pleasure and pain, are arise due to the contact with the senses with their object. In other words, they are born of identification with the body. Krishna indicates that those who are devoted to enjoyment and the power, devoted to enjoyment and power, are carried away by the words of the Vedas. What these Vedas are promising? Promise heavenly enjoyment by sacrifice and regulated activity. Enjoyment is our birthright, for it is the characteristics of the spirit soul. But the spirit soul tries to enjoy materially, and this is the mistake. Everyone is turning to material subjects for enjoyment and is compiling as much knowledge as possible. Someone is becoming a chemist, physicist, politician, artist, or whatever. Everyone knows something of everything or everything of something, and this is generally known as knowledge. But as soon as we leave the body, all of this knowledge is vanquished. In the previous life, one may have been a great man of knowledge, but in this life, he has to start again by going to school and learning how to read and write from the beginning. Whatever knowledge was acquired in previous life is forgotten. The situation is that we are actually seeking eternal knowledge, but this cannot be acquired by this material body. We are all seeking enjoyment through these bodies, but bodily enjoyment is not our actual enjoyment. It is artificial. We have to understand that we have to understand that we want to continue in this artificial enjoyment, we will not be able to attain our position of eternal enjoyment. The body must be considered a diseased condition. A diseased man cannot enjoy himself properly. A man with jaundice, for instance, will taste sugar candy as bitter, but a healthy man can taste its sweetness. In either case, the sugar candy is the same, but according to our condition, it tastes different. Unless we are cured by this diseased conception of bodily life, we cannot taste the sweetness of spiritual life. Indeed, it will taste bitter to us. At the same time, by increasing our enjoyment of material life, we are further complicating our diseased condition. A typhoid patient cannot eat solid food, and if someone gives it to him to enjoy, he eats it. He is further complicating his malady and is endangering his life. If we really want, if we really want freedom from the miseries of material existence, we must minimize our bodily demands and pleasure. Actually, material enjoyment is not enjoyment at all. Real enjoyment does not cease. In the Mahabharata, there is a verse, Ramante yogino anante, to the effect that the yogis, yogino, those who are endeavoring to elevate themselves to the spiritual platform are actually enjoying Ramante, but their enjoyment is anante, endless. This is because their enjoyment is in relation to the supreme enjoyer, Rama, Sri Krishna. Bhagavan, Sri Krishna is real enjoyer. And the Bhagavad Gita chapter 5, text 29 confirms this. Bhaktaram yagatapsam sarva loka maheshwaram shuhidam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shantim richati. The sages, knowing me as the ultimate enjoyer of all sacrifice and austerities, the supreme lord of all planets and demigods, and the benefactor and the well-wisher of all living entities, attain peace from pangs of material miseries. So, for this today we will end here. 20 मिनट हम डेली रीड करेंगे. कल से हम जो है कंटिन्यू करेंगे आगे का रीडिंग. सो विल स्टॉप हियर. अभी किसी का कुछ क्वेश्चन है या कमेंट है तो आप पूछ सकते हैं.